perhaps worryingly for Copenhagen, there is a stare of steely focus from the man of the moment, Erling Haaland, who seems very much in the zone and ready to perform again. Let's take a look at the lineups then. For Manchester City, there's a first start this season after a knee.
Ismail Benacer will be captaining Milan this evening in the absence of David Calabria and Theo Hernandez. Thiago Silva leads Chelsea. In all, Milan are without 9 players through injury. Their defence particularly badly hit. Maybe 4 of the first choice back 5, if you like, including the goalkeeper, are absent this evening. I guess it's good news for Serginho Dest, who makes his full Milan debut after a couple of starts for the USMNT last week. Fikayo Tomori and Olivier Giroud have both played for Chelsea in the last 18 months. Rafael Leao is reportedly on the Chelsea wish list. The standing goalkeeper, 36-year-old Ciprian Tatarusanu, played his first game for 10 months on Saturday. And the Chelsea in particular have made a false start to their Champions League campaign. I mentioned the business side of these clubs. Their business models will be geared towards Champions League progress and the revenue that generates. Mr. Boli's Orion's second manager. But before all that, the fans here will be asked to observe a period of silence in memory of those that died in Saturday's stadium disaster in Indonesia.
This match is brought to you by JustEatTakeaway.com, UEFA Champions League official sponsor.
The death toll believed to be 125 now. Tragic. Well, Stamford Bridge is one of the most exclusive addresses in European football. We're about 3 miles from Buckingham Palace. You could take a stroll down to the banks of the Thames in 10 minutes. Prime real estate in southwest London. But tonight, as we tick to 8 o'clock local time, Chelsea have got to make it a stronghold from which to get their Champions League campaign started. Alongside me, a very good evening to Rob Green, who was a Chelsea goalkeeper himself just under 4 years ago. Good evening, Rob.
Evening, Clive. Yes, and I never managed to afford a place around here. It was that exclusive.
What's the key to this?
I think it's a key match for Chelsea. I think it's critical for them. I think they've got to find their feet, and how they play at the moment under Graham Potter. They're still finding their feet in that formation. Tonight they're playing with a 3-4-3. He does tinker, he does change. They are up against a team who know themselves. AC Milan, they know what they're about. They've had success. They play every week in their 4-2-3-1. But, and there's always a but, the injuries that you talk about riddle through the team gives Chelsea that little bit of hope.
Chelsea in all blue, who won a place in the final in this stadium less than 18 months ago, looking for their first Champions League win of the season here. Anything less than that, and next year's final will look an awful long way away. Tonali and Benacer right foot and left foot standing over the free kick. Tonali takes it. It's taken out by the head of Reece James. Raheem Sterling to Ben Chilwell. Up towards Aubameyang, whose first touch is... Krunic. And Chelsea pressing the ball very quickly, but a little too strongly for the liking of referee Danny McAuley.
Well, they've got Koulibaly, who's got the luxury of knowing that he's got the two centre-backs behind him. That's the beauty of playing three at the back. Just gives you that opportunity to be a bit more aggressive in the defence. Chelsea will look to press, win the ball back early.
And they've done that on 4 or 5 occasions already in these opening exchanges. Both teams won last weekend. Both needed dramatic late goals in order to win. Chelsea haven't won 2 games in a row yet this season. 3 defeats already to Leeds United, Southampton and Dinamo Zagreb. Milan have only lost once, but they've had some alarms. Krunic to Dest. All the way back to Ismail Benacer.
There's 2 key battles in this game. One down the right-hand side with Krunic and Dest. Dest loves to get forward, loves to attack the side, and then, as Mike was talking about in the studio, now up against Reece James, one of the best of Serie A in an attacking sense, was one of the best in the Premier League in a defensive sense, up against it.
De Ketelaere caught painfully. Kalidou Koulibaly trying to get involved. It's his first involvement in a Graham Potter team. His Chelsea career started so promisingly. Volleyed a goal against their great rivals Tottenham Hotspur here in his home debut. He picked up a red card in the next game at Leeds, and he's had a bit of a struggle adapting since then.
Oh, we're 3 minutes in, and that's 2 fouls already. So keep an eye on that.
Same right and left-footed options available here. Tonali again. Headed out of harm's way initially by Koulibaly. Pierre Kalulu here is in at the heart of the defence from the start alongside Fikayo Tomori. And Tomori's back on familiar ground. Joined Chelsea as a 7-year-old initially. He and Giroud facing familiar adversaries this evening. Here is Cyprian Tatarishanu, who played his first game for 10 months on Saturday. Mike Maignan, the French international, missing through injury. Terrific pass from Kovacic. Aubameyang. Here's Mason Mount. And Tatarishanu has to react. And Chelsea have an early corner.
That's a fantastic break. And it's from Thiago Silva just reading, taking that chance in front of Giroud, and from there, Kovacic, he can split the defence so well. Early strike from Mount. Tatarishanu.
All 3 of Chelsea's centre-backs are inside the Milan penalty area. But so too is Olivier Giroud, who does a lot of sterling work on behalf of his defenders. Defenders don't always welcome the presence of strikers back trying to do their jobs for them, but Giroud is one of the best at it. Mount's control just a little loose, and Tomori can ease it back to Tatarishanu.
Just a couple of times already that Milan have been quite open as a back 4, allowed that through ball straight into the striker's feet.
Hungry start from Chelsea. Kovacic's second piercing pass is not quite so accurate. Dest didn't have very much time there. Benacer. Milan just trying to settle things down here. 1 or 2 unfamiliar combinations within their team, although Kalulu and Tomori played together a lot last season at the centre of their defence.
created a good understanding between the two of them. Both got a good reading of the game. Need that tonight.
Here's Rafael Leao, of whom so much is expected, combining with Ballo Touré. Leao going looking for the ball again. And all the rumours are that Chelsea are looking for him. Dest. Krunic. Dest is a little isolated here. Finds a way out to Benacer. De Ketelaere, and Leao wasn't quite on the same wavelength. Stefano Pioli lean on Milan's injury toll for excuses in his pre-game briefing, but it is a depleted squad and essentially a young team. 7 of the 10 outfield players are under 25. Early yellow card isn't going to help the cause of Rade Krunic.
I knew what he was doing. Ruben Loftus-Cheek loves to play the ball, loves to go early, loves to drive forward with it. Did so.
Free kick has not been taken for the correct place. The referee hasn't quite finished his accountancy yet, still making a note of Krunic's name. Mount. Chilwell. Thiago Silva. It's charged down by Giroud. There's a hint of handball there, but here's De Ketelaere. Broken 2 challenges. Leao. It's a great burst by Leao. Fofana got to him eventually. Both of his challenges were a little clumsy, and Leao was a little unlucky.
He looks up to the heavens, and he had to get that second challenge right. He was beaten. It was just that pressure. And then a well-timed little lunge of the leg and a back heel was enough from Fofana, but he was nervous at the start of the game at the weekend against Crystal Palace in the Premier League.
But already you can see what all the fuss is about. The Milan number 17, Rafael Leao. 4 goals to his name this season. He won the penalty and set up the second against Zagreb. 23-year-old Portuguese international who's quick and skillful and big too. He's 6'2". Chilwell run into traffic there. De Ketelaere has been penalised. Graham Potter confessed that he'd never actually been to a Champions League game before his first match in charge here 3 weeks ago against RB Salzburg. It's the kind of admission that is typical of him. He's disarming, he's modest, he's not a screamer and shouter.
Sure, his defence was he's been busy managing.
It wasn't his job until he took over as Chelsea. Loftus-Cheek. There is space for Chilwell, but the pass wasn't good enough. Koulibaly was quick to it. Giroud went back with him. De Ketelaere, who's also tall. That's good control from James. Sterling. Kovacic. Mount. Good tempo about this opening 10 minutes. All the way back to Arisa Balaga, who's playing for the 4th consecutive game. Edouard Mendy has had a knee problem, but he's training again and is on the bench this evening. It's a straight selection by Graham Potter in Arrizabalaga's favour.
Played well at the weekend. Made some important saves against the game against Crystal Palace. And to play well, he keep the place and
win the game the Benfica way.
It's good for his confidence.
It's difficult.
It's been tested over a few years now.
He can do it on the pitch.
They do like a switcher play as well, particularly down from the right to the left.
Now
Ronaldo loves to get forward. Here he is on the ball now.
Kovacic trying to get Aubameyang in behind Kalulu, behind Tomori, but it is a goal kick. Milan's title triumph in Italy last spring was built upon a most resolute defence, particularly in the closing weeks of the campaign. They haven't managed to keep their opponents out in any of their last 6 games. Chelsea now 8 games without a clean sheet defensively. Just not the stable foundations for the kind of success that both clubs aspire to. Krunic to Tonali, De Ketelaere. Tonali has plenty of movement to his left. Thiago Silva out with a cover.
He's a lucky boy there, Koulibaly, because he was late with the challenge. I've already mentioned it's one that's been missed by Kelly, the referee, and could have been a yellow card there.
Dest. It's done well to find a cross of any description, really. Way by Koulibaly. Benacera's got it back. Tomori to Ketelaere. Benacer. Krunic. It's fallen for him. De Ketelaere trying to jam it back into his path. Thiago Silva away. Leao. Ballo-Touré. Tomori and De Ketelaere not quite on the same wavelength. James was caught late there by Ballo-Touré. He miscontrolled the ball, which invited the challenge, but the challenge was a bit loose and rash.
You're right, Clive. It was just enough for Ballo-Touré to tempt him in. He's a little touch away as he steps back, and ouch, right on the top of the foot. I can assure you, they hurt.
Yellow card for Foda Ballo-Touré. Just his 7th Milan start since his move from Monaco last year, Senegal international. James trying to get Sterling in behind. And Tomori taking no chances. Sterling. Well, he seemed to be being fairly clearly held there by Sandro Tonali, but maybe the Dutch referee believed both were guilty.
There's hands all over each other, as you say, Clive, and the touch from Raheem Sterling was not great and was enough for the referee to make that decision.
Both players are at it. The officials usually turn a blind eye. Two wrongs make a right. Dest. And it's a little risky, that pass, and Sterling has pounced upon it. Square passes inside your own half of the field are rarely advisable.
It was clever from Raheem Sterling, because that's the ball, that's the automatic ball that you get, and you know where the space is, you know where the spare man is, but cute from Raheem Sterling, he's waiting there for it.
Important few weeks for Serginho Dest. He played in both internationals last week, one at right back, one at left back. This is his first start for Milan after 4 substitute appearances on loan from Barcelona. Number 21, the US international fullback Serginho Dest.
He's been encouraged to go forward. He likes to go forward in the colours of AC Milan. He did so at Barcelona and at Ajax, so we'll look to do more of the same.
Leao running into trouble. No way out for Loftus-Cheek, who's fouled rather cheaply by Benacer. I'm not sure he needed to make that challenge. Out-shepherded well by Kalulu, managed to smuggle the ball to Kovacic, and now Loftus-Cheek. Plenty happening to Sterling's right. Space here now for James. Sterling on the overlap, instead it's towards Aubameyang, dealt with by Tomori. Still space for James. Miscontrol there by Mount, rather halted his momentum and eventually defeated him completely. Giroud looking for a free kick, but nothing doing. His hold-up play is one of his strongest suits. Thiago Silva. Aubameyang had made a good diagonal run. Dest doing well against Chilwell. Fofana has taken on too much, dispossessed by Giroud. Benacer to Leao, big challenge coming in from Thiago Silva, got the ball. James, now Mount on the right-hand side, policed by Tonali. And the back pass wasn't very good. It's present of a corner for Chelsea.
I was just about to say he did well, he did the hard bit. And that was a poor choice from Fofana. Loves to go forward, but Thiago Silva saw his opportunity, didn't want to be chasing back towards his own goal against Leao.
It's a kind of challenge which is often penalised in the contemporary game, just for the force of it coming through Leao. The header is by Fofana, and it was a pretty free header. A bit of pushing and shoving, maybe.
Got half a yard for Fofana. His elbows up. Ruben Loftus-Cheek appealing for a penalty. Well, there's a reason why he didn't score the header.
Came off his shoulder. Difficult to score with your shoulder. You try it. Benacer taking his life in his hands. Trusted his own control, didn't he? But then he's given it straight to Raheem Sterling. Headed away by Tomori, whom Benacer owes a big thanks. Sterling again. Blocked by Tonali. Raheem Sterling once more. Tonali once more.
Holds his hands up, Benacer. Just over the last 10 minutes, they have looked composed on the ball. They have looked to play. Just got that one horribly wrong. He sets his team up well to set traps and press the opposition.
Balotelli penalised. The ball just came off his hand. And he moved it towards the ball. That's what condemns him there.
The referee gave it. His assistant is all of 2 yards away. I don't know why he can't lift up his flag and help.
Mason Mount. Headed by Thiago Silva. Tipped over by Tatarishanu, but Thiago Silva was unmarked.
Acres of space. Barely had to move. He's not picked up at all. Allowed to wander in. How he's allowed that much room? It's too central. Big opportunity.
Now, there's a little bit of aggravation in that corner where the Milan fans are for Ben Chilwell, who's taking the corner kick. Oh, and again a free header for Thiago Silva. Well, he is visible, isn't he? He's got a big yellow armband on for one thing. They've lost him.
Oh, he's just completely switched off, Benacer. He's the nearest man. Just doesn't know where he is, hasn't got a clue. Not interested in going for the header. If you're in the penalty area, you've got to try.
Chilwell again. And it's a header from Thiago Silva again. Still an opportunity for Chelsea. And it's in from Fofana. Milan failed to deal with the corner kick. 3 opportunities in as many minutes for Thiago Silva, but it's his central defensive colleague, Wesley Fofana, who scores his first Chelsea goal and gives them the lead midway through the first half.
It's a huge moment. What a big money signing from the summer, but the questions have to be asked of the AC Milan defence. Not once, not twice, but 3 times they allowed in the space of 2 minutes. Thiago Silva, 3 headers. And he's just baffling. Baffling how, between them as a side, you do not address that issue. You do not turn around and say, one of our best headers, go and mark the man. It's a composed finish in the end, but they really were gifted, that Chelsea.
Only the second goal of Fofana's senior career here in England. One for Leicester, and now one for his new club, Chelsea. And for the 6th time in 11 games this season, Milan have conceded the first goal in a game. They've only lost 1 of those, by the way. And Chelsea haven't kept a clean sheet in 8 since they started the season with a 1-0 win at Everton in early August. Interestingly, in those 5 games in which Milan have conceded first, they've equalised within 15 minutes in 4 of those. So that's the key for them now, to try to bite back.
Have that confidence from winning the title last season in Serie A. Having come back, it does build a belief, but that will be tested, and if they don't decide to mark Thiago Silva, it'll be tested even more.
Chelsea lead, but it was a self-inflicted Milan wound. Even after Thiago Silva won the ball, they had opportunities to scramble it clear, but it fell kindly for Wesley Fofana, just 21 years of age. $75 million move from Leicester City at the end of August. And his name on a Chelsea score sheet for the first time.
It just felt like that they froze after that first free header from Thiago Silva, and no one knew what each other were doing. No one knew whose role it was. You need a leader in those moments.
Tomori's clearance, a little anxious. Krunic couldn't control it. Tomori again. Benacer. Sterling. James. A little bit of space for James again, well found by Thiago Silva. Koulibaly. Chilwell. And that's easy for Tataru Shanu. Defending set pieces are very carefully, well-drilled operations. Players are detailed for marking assignments prior to a game. We often see when substitutes come onto a field that flip chart conversation with one of the coaches, and a lot of that is about who you're picking up at set pieces. But it was almost as if Thiago Silva wasn't part of the briefing.
It was an incredible passage of play, wasn't it? And you just think that the players on the pitch, you are allowed to make decisions on there at the time. And talk about having a young team in AC Milan. That's the sort of thing where you just need someone like a Giroud to say, OK, this is my responsibility, I'm going to change it here. Because they clearly needed to.
They paid a price for it. Fofana's goal is the difference here. And if Chelsea do win this game, there will be just 2 points separating the 4 clubs at the end of the evening. This is Kovacic. Trying to feed it into Aubameyang, who are easier passes for him. He went for the $64,000 option there.
It was better read by Kovacic than it was executed.
Thiago Silva went to Milan from Brazil nearly 14 years ago. It was his first stop in Europe. He actually left for Paris in 2012 and hasn't faced Milan with anybody since then. James. Here's Mount! It was just blocked by Kalulu. I don't know how much he knew about it. It was a big chance for Mason Mount.
It was a big chance for Chelsea. 2 goals, this cushion would have been big for them. Settled them right down.
Instead, here's Krunic if he can keep it in, but he can't.
He scored a wonderful goal for England in the international break from a similar position. Went for the other corner this time. As you say, I'm not sure how much Kalulu knew about it. It was a big block, a big moment.
Well, now we're just starting to settle before that series of corners that led to the goal. Looking very unsettled now. Balotelli on by Tonali, away by Thiago Silva. Aubameyang. Mount. It was a crunching challenge from Kalulu, and he's come off the worst. Good news story, Wesley Fofana. He missed much of last season through injury, having just emerged. This is only his 2nd appearance at this level in the Champions League. And coming to a club with a higher profile, such as Chelsea, higher scrutiny, greater jeopardy when he has made errors, and he was outpaced for the Dinamo winner in Zagreb. A loose pass on Saturday at Crystal Palace eventually led to a goal, and all those crosses against his name now followed by a great big tick. The goal that has given Chelsea the lead here. Kalulu, though, to Ketelara. Setting Leao short. Here is Fofana. Ball to the ground by Leao, was he? Referee had a think about it and has given a free kick.
It's a good bit of play from Fofana, a bit of confidence from the goal, and getting the right side of Leao. He was coming back. It's an interesting battle over out on that far side, in that we're playing a back three. It allows Reece James to push on that little bit further forward. Fofana's having the confidence to take on Leao and say, yes, I'll man-to-man mark him. Gives Chelsea that extra man.
Fofana is still moving gingerly. All of the Champions League games in progress are available to stream on Paramount+. Manchester City are already 2 up in their game tonight. Erling Haaland's got them both. There's a suspicion of offside here as Matt Hung chips it goal. No, the flag is up. It's not going to count. Aubameyang played him in, but he always looked to be just a yard beyond the last defender, Mason Mount, and sure enough he was.
Yeah, he knew it. It was slick, it was good. Question marks about Aubameyang from the start. Whether he was interfering, I don't think so. But from there, they've had opportunities like this, and it's fairly clear the referee's assistant doing his job, but that confidence will do him a bit of good.
It was a good finish, wasn't it?
Making that run, knowing where the goal is. Sometimes those little things make a bit of difference.
Still an issue with Wesley Fofana. We saw him limp away from that block challenge a couple of minutes ago, and he's down receiving some treatment now as Chelsea discuss their latest raid, which was foiled actually by a very good Milan line. They held that line well, and Mount ran beyond them. But this is the goal which separates the two teams. Rob Green.
Yeah, again, it's been said, he's been posted on that penalty area, and it's not particularly to mark Thiago Silva. It's just to have a role as a presence, and didn't have that presence at all. And yes, it's a little bit fortunate that they did manage to get the shot away in the end, but between them as teammates, that man, Giroud, one of the most experienced players on the pitch, get together, change something.
It was a tidy finish by Fofana amidst all the chaos going on around him. And he won't change his motivation to want to be on the field, but it would be a particular shame if he wasn't able to continue in the circumstances. Just to recap what I was saying before that incident, Manchester City 2, Copenhagen 0 is the latest score, and Erling Haaland has scored twice in the opening 35 minutes of that game. Real Madrid 2-0 up against Shakhtar Donetsk. Borussia Dortmund 1 up in Seville. Paris Saint-Germain 1 up in Lisbon against Benfica. Golazo is the show to be following if you want to see all those goals as they happen. Ketelara penalised. Malaga wasn't altogether expecting that. Chilwell. Dest doing well once more. Fofana is holding his arm in the air, and I think signalling to the Chelsea bench that he's unable to continue. He's gone down again now in the hope that Milan will stop the game. And sportingly, they do just that. And I think Wesley Fofana's headline evening is going to be over early here. Chelsea have good backup in the shape of Cesar Azpilicueta and Trevor Chalobah.
That's the twisting of the knee, the jarring of the knee. Not so much the impact, more jarring with the foot into the floor, and then the signal. I've tried it. It's not enough. It's a sad end to a big night for him.
Motivation for the score of the game's only goal so far. The French under-21 international Wesley Fofana. And it is Trevor Chalobah who will be making only his second appearance for Chelsea this evening, his first under Graham Potter, who will eventually take his place. He was actually tried in an anchor midfield role in a behind closed doors friendly that I heard about last week, but he is a centre-back by trade.
He's comfortable on the ball, looking to press forward, and that's certainly what Wesley Fofana was doing was when he got injured.
Maybe a pointer to the future that Chalobah is preferred to Azpilicueta in these circumstances.
I think as well, you've got the pace of Leao. Just think a younger body, a fresher pair of legs to support Reece James and to go up against him.
Giroud, who was taken late there by Kovacic. Good advantage play, Krunic. Dest had made a run into the box, but he'd run into an offside position and was flagged. And Kovacic for that late challenge. Advantage play, but that doesn't prevent the referee from going back and showing a yellow card to Mateo Kovacic.
It's a shake of the head, but it's a good decision from McKelly. The referee out of control, and he can't go in and do that in those challenges. You can say all you want, he's right.
They're great fun to make, those challenges, but not such great fun when you're on the end of them.
I'm not sure really Olivier Giroud would agree.
Ariza Balaga with a good pass to James, didn't make the most of it. To Ketelara. Leao. And Chalobah's first involvement is to poke it away from the danger man Leao. Tonali run off the ball by Loftus-Cheek. Mount up to Sterling. Been altogether sharper and tidier, Chelsea, since they took the lead. Milan have struggled to find a response. Benacer. Krunic. It was a difficult straight pass for Tonali, and Loftus-Cheek came between them, and now Sterling can scurry. And here's Loftus-Cheek. Sterling arriving at the same time as James, got in each other's way a little bit. James again. Sterling. James. And Mount just beaten to the punch by the head of Tomori, but they're a little sleepy and a little disorganised now, Milan, defensively.
Yeah, they're just getting outnumbered out wide. Little combinations, little trios, triangles out there. Just not sure what to do and how to do it and how to block these runs and passes.
Giroud unable to protect the ball. Chalobah.
You have Leao up front, almost as a wide striker. It does leave Ballo-Touré at left back exposed, and he's waiting for Tonali to get out and help him. It takes time for him to get across the pitch, and by then Chelsea have attacked and are at him.
Milan just haven't looked like hurting Chelsea since the opening moments of the game. De Ketelaere trying to change that. Giroud. De Ketelaere. Lau had gone on, but the pass wasn't good enough. Away by Koulibaly. Sterling. He's got a fantastic acceleration. From a standing start over those first 5, almost baby steps that he takes, Raheem Sterling is so difficult to stop. And it was a tactical foul, and Benacer is going to be yellow carded.
It's one that Raheem Sterling was just waiting for that moment to get away. Eventually got there, and Benacer knew he was beaten.
It's almost part of Sterling's approach to stand you still and then back his acceleration to cruise away from you.
He is one of the fastest players to have ever played against off a standing start. Fortunately for me, I was in goal and I didn't have to race against him.
Ketelaere, Tonali, Krunic, Dest. This is suggesting it's Fikayo Tomori who picked up the yellow card there. Leao. Chalobah handled that well. Leao fancied his chances, even giving Chalobah a couple of yards start, but he used his body just to shepherd him down a blind alley.
Yeah, sends a message to him as well, saying when he came on, it's for his athleticism that he can deal with that pace. He certainly did then.
Wesley Fofana's 24th minute goal is the difference here at Stamford Bridge. And just to reiterate what I was saying earlier, it is a tight group. RB Salzburg beat Dinamo Zagreb in this group a little earlier this evening, and if Chelsea beat Milan, both they and Milan would have 4 points. Salzburg would just be 1 point ahead of them, and Dinamo Zagreb just 1 point behind them. All to play for then in the last 3 games. There's a late challenge on Ballo-Touré by Sterling, which has been penalised.
There's been a few of these in the game. Just a miscontrol and a tempter for the player pressing.
The danger there for the fullback is the motion of kicking the ball forward actually creates the momentum against the tackler, and if you make contact with the boot, particularly with the studs, it can be very damaging. Here's Chalobah quickly to the ball, but then couldn't quite control it. Got 4 added minutes here at the end of the first half. Kalulu, Dest. He's tried to carry the fight down this side, Serginho Dest. But Milan have been on the back foot, really, certainly since the goal.
He's coming from such a deep position as right back, and Krunic doesn't pose that threat. He's not that player to dribble past people. He's trying to do it on his own a bit.
Yeah, Greg Berhalter's full-back options are interesting. Anthony Robinson is back in training with Fulham after injury. This is Sterling suddenly clear. Oh, and he just couldn't quite either find the target or squeeze it square for Aubameyang. The recovery was a good one, but it was a sudden and clear chance for Raheem Sterling.
Just second-guessed himself just a moment there, where he felt just wasn't as confident as he could have been to go through on goal and take the shot. And in injury time in the first half, that's a huge opportunity.
Benacer. The Catalari's done well. Krunic tried to tuck it into Giroud. It's an important intervention by Thiago Silva. Sterling retaining possession despite the push, and now Kovacic. This was Sterling's chance.
Yeah, he's away. It's a good ball from Mount. Player full of confidence and full of goals. You'd expect him from this moment to take the shot away. Just a little bit of pressure was enough.
4 goals in his last 6 Chelsea games for Raheem Sterling. Definitely onside.
It's the hand on the shoulder, barely any pressure, but just that little presence. And then a very good recovering tackle from Kalulu. Size all round.
Still looks strange in a Chelsea shirt, doesn't he, after 7 years at Manchester City. He was brought up in London. Raheem Sterling, his first football club in England, Queen's Park Rangers, is only 3 or 4 miles from here. Tonali, that's a terrific pass. Leao. He does have 4 white shirts in support here. Rafael Leao, he might go it alone. De Ketelari. Oh, what a chance that was for Krunic. And he spooned it high over the bar. And other than the goal, that's the clearest chance of the whole match for either side. And Rada Krunic couldn't take it.
Leao to create a big hand from Kepa Arrizabalaga, just a reaction, had no op, just to put it. And then a lunging challenge from Ben Chilwell was enough just to get a touch.
But Leao has been on the fringes so far, but when he gets to the heart of the game, he can be devastating. Added time to the added time. Tonali. And Chelsea deal with it and get to the half-time interval with a deserved 1-0 lead. The goal was a messy affair, one that Milan should have dealt with, should have seen coming for a couple of minutes, really. Wesley Fofana, who has subsequently had to limp off injured, scored the goal. And Chelsea have been the better side until the closing seconds of the half, when Milan should
proven to help gradually reduce the bend. Don't receive if the treatment area involves your urethra or if you're allergic to any of the ingredients. May cause serious side effects, including penile fracture or other serious injury during an erection, and severe allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Seek help if you have any of these symptoms. Do not have any sexual activity during and for at least 4 weeks after each treatment cycle. Sudden back pain reactions and fainting can happen after treatment. Tell your doctor if proven to help gradually reduce the bend. Don't receive if the treatment area involves your urethra or if you're allergic to any of the ingredients. May cause serious side effects, including penile fracture or other serious injury during
Klassen pushed into the role in the middle of the front three such as it is. The pattern will start again. Manchester City attacking and looking for more goals. They have now scored in every single one of 35 group stage games in their history, home group stage games, that is. Great start to the action for Cole Palmer. Johannesson, mentioned in the first half, his Birmingham roots. Dad Joe Eager Johnson played for Aston Villa, Wolves, Leicester, Burnley and Huddersfield in England. He's now an assistant coach with the Iceland national side. Kevin Dix will turn 26 tomorrow. Have a reflective birthday. It's a push from Alvarez on Vavro.
Goal by Danilo, the ex-Porto player, scores for Benfica.
Distance got some height on that. Grealish managed to get away.
got his foot on that, but Krunic should have finished it anyway.
Wow, what a miss.
That the American accent.
Want to miss that one?
You have to give Chilwell a lot of credit for that to turn and just put his foot there. Should have scored.
All right, so second half action is set for you. We're going to take you back out to our commentary team for Chelsea, AC Milan, Rob Green and Clive Tildesley. Enjoy.
It's one of those strange historical anomalies that these two have not met for more than 23 years. Chelsea's first ever Champions League game was against Milan here in 1999. What's maybe even stranger is that Milan have won only once in their last 20 matches on English soil. That was back in 2005 when Jamie's Liverpool beat them in the final. And Milan must come from behind this evening to try to wipe out a goal that even Jamie Carragher would have scored.
And that's saying something, Clive. Yes, it's one that... they had that moment, Chelsea, didn't they, that period in the first half where they looked in control, they looked to get the pressure, and Milan froze for a bit. And then from there, it was fairly well contained. They looked comfortable on the ball, Milan. They got back into the game without causing too much damage, without worrying Chelsea up until the end. I think Chelsea, looking at it, will have been happy with how the first half went. They looked to have control of periods of the game where they looked comfortable, they looked in possession. They had this out ball to Reece James a lot. And him, Raheem Sterling, Mason Mount caused problems. That's for something Milan that need to get to tackle this half.
There's James again. Back to Thiago Silva. And the switch ball this time to the other wing-back, Chilwell. Mount in support of him. Sterling. That's a good return pass. It's good defending by Tomori. He was light heavyweight against lightweight.
Yeah, it was well read by Tomori. He knew where he was going. He knew what he needed to do.
A good lightweight.
Yeah. Just needed to hold his ground against the lightweight.
Bellatori. Stefano Pioli has not got a lot in reserve this evening. Senior players available to him from the bench: Brahim Diaz, Ante Rebic. Divock Origi is only just back from injury. That's about it, really. And Chelsea's bench is so much stronger.
You would say that Rebic coming on for Giroud is a well-used substitution that they do make pretty much every game, and he scored at the weekend. So later on, we'll see how long Olivier Giroud lasts.
He scored soon after coming off the bench. Fikayo Tomori. Here's Pierre Kalulu. Dest popping up in an advanced position, but just unable to capitalise. It's maybe still a little rusty. Had an injury-hit season last season, Serginho Dest. And then Xavi started leaving him out of the Barcelona picture. It's a great compliment to him that a club like Milan want to take him on loan and give him another opportunity. And now David Calabria, the usual Milan right back, is out with a serious hamstring injury. Looks like Dest will get some football between now and the World Cup. This is Bellatori. On by Leao. James to Sterling. James has options. He just hasn't got his legs. They've been taken away by Fikayo Tomori, who has been yellow carded, let's not forget.
Should be off for this. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's bringing him down. He knows he's beaten. Wobble around as much as he wants, but he's a fortunate player right now. I thought it was just an attack that was slowing down in impetus. It wasn't to know what was behind him.
Yes, in isolation, that certainly looked like a yellow card foul by Tomori. If Chelsea can exact their own punishment. It'll be Mason Mount. It's towards Chalobah. Well, presumably he has scored that kind of goal in training.
Has scored the spectacular before for Chelsea, but I think that would have topped the lot. It's just that Milan line was so deep up against Tatarusanu, the goalkeeper. The space was there on the edge of the box to try it.
The delivery was slightly behind Chalobah. He had to improvise some kind of finish. Tonali. Giroud hasn't had much to feed off this evening. There was a bit of a clash there with Thiago Silva, who's gone down holding his face. It's his shoulder that's hurt in actual fact. And Giroud's hurt his foot.
This one that was just a natural collision, and the problem that Milan have had so far, it's just two players lunging for the ball, that everything's been in front of the Chelsea back line. And it allows them to step in. There's no threat, real threat in behind off the ball. Leao has in parts, in times, running behind. Not often enough to really cause any problems.
Thiago Silva's 38 now. Giroud was 36 last Friday. Hurts a bit more at that age. Hurt in the morning. Sterling came from an offside position there. Kalulu. Just haven't been able to get the ball to Leao enough for him to make a concerted impact on the game. But the little glimpses we've had have been promising from Milan's point of view.
Well, they've done that well, Chelsea. Force the play down the Milan right. So that ball has been a long, hopeful ball. I get the feeling he only needs one chance, though.
There's been a few stories circulating that Chelsea lead the chase for Leao's future. Not quite sure what the source of those stories are. Talk of a $90 million fee, both clubs in American ownership. Probably the deal would be done in dollars, would it? I don't know. There's also been discussion of which players Chelsea would trade in such a deal, and Ziyech and Breuer and even Pulisic have been mentioned, but that is all for the future, and that is all rumour. Kalulu. De Ketelaere hasn't really been able to get into the game either. Benacer. Ballo Touré. Here is Leao. James quickly to him.
Milan playing at Stamford Bridge here. It's a sort of ground I've been played here a lot that even though you're one down, it quietens down and almost the crowd falls asleep, and it lulls the team into being comfortable, and that's when you feel like you have a chance. So Milan will still feel like they have a chance in this game.
Free kick given rather belatedly for James's nibble at Tonali.
It's been a game that's full of little niggles and bumps and bruises.
Kalulu. Benacer. Dest to Tomori. Balotelli. Leao. James again quickly upon him. Now is Sterling onside. No flag. Seeing a bit more of the ball at the moment, Milan.
Yeah, that's just saying they're comfortable in keeping the ball, quieting the crowd down.
Dest back here was a little perilous. Mount. Aubameyang. Chilwell. Mount. Chilwell's got him behind Dest. Couldn't pick out Aubameyang. James will keep the move alive. Aubameyang! Chelsea 2, Milan 0. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, whose career began in Milan, has scored against them. Poor marking, really. Milan dealt with the first attack. The cross was over here, but they lost Aubameyang when the second ball came in, and he could hardly miss, staring into the goal. And Chelsea have some clear daylight here. 2-0, Aubameyang.
That's a lovely little bit of movement from Aubameyang into the space, but it's all about the ball from Reece James. It's poor from Chilwell. And this boy, Reece James, can deliver across. Just that little feint to go across the near post from Aubameyang. The slightest bit of movement, then no, I'm going in behind. But just the pure pace on the ball makes it a simple finish. Where do you want it? He's been quiet all night, Aubameyang. He's been asking for that one ball. Well, he won't get a better one all night.
It's not Fikayo Tomori's best moment. It's flimsy defending, in truth. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who went 5 years without playing in the Champions League at Arsenal and then briefly at Barcelona last season, never gone beyond the quarterfinals of this competition. Came back to Chelsea to be reunited with Thomas Tuchel at the start of last month, and Tuchel was gone 5 days later. But he scored his first goal for his new club on Saturday, and he's got his second this evening. And Chelsea now have that little bit of a comfort zone.
I think from Pioli's point of view, was how little they had to work for the goal. Just gathering in one poor ball and no pressure on the cross, and then no pressure on the finish.
Corner given. It's Aubameyang's 16th Champions League goal, the first 15 of those scored for Borussia Dortmund. Benacer with a corner. Tomori trying to win it in the air, Dest trying to win it in the air, neither of them could. There's a chance for a counter now with Mount finding Sterling, and he's got Aubameyang free, but Kalulu came between them and then barged Sterling to the ground.
Well, he saw the pass, didn't he? He knew it was on. He's doing his work on the edge of the box, and then he's away. Top of your screen, Aubameyang streaking through, timed his run, would have been onside. That would have been game over.
The referee just had a quiet word with Stefano Pioli off camera. was a little more vehement in his protest than the official liked, but it was a fairly friendly exchange. Frustration for Pioli. Came here without some big names tonight: Calabria, Kier, Salamanca's, Hernandez, Maignan, Florenzi. Ibrahimovic, let's not forget, is still a Milan player.
A few of them are long-term as well, by the end of the group stage at least, for them. And these are big games now if this ends in defeat for Milan. Big games for every team in this group.
They'll meet next Tuesday in San Siro, these two. And as things stand, Salzburg will lead the group tonight with 5 points. Chelsea and Milan will have 4. And Dinamo Zagreb 3. 2 points to separate the 4. Salzburg visit Croatia next week. Chelsea have still got to go to Salzburg. Zagreb have still got to come here. Mount. What a pass that is. Wing back to wing back. Reece James. Options in the centre. Raheem Sterling. Flag has gone up on the near side. I suspect Sterling would have been offside there.
Well, it's an exhibition of passing. First, a crossfield switch, and then the ball into Raheem Sterling. He was onside. Sure, going on to his weaker foot. He fancied himself really over that finish.
Chilwell. Milan have lost a bit of heart here. Sterling. And now James. 3. Smashed into the roof of the Milan net. Reece James takes the game away from Milan. Chelsea's first Champions League victory of the season is imminent. 2 goals in no time at all from Aubameyang and now James. And Milan look beaten.
And it's been wave after wave of attack. And then this finish was never in doubt. The press was too good, the trap was set. And from that point, it's whether Chelsea could capitalise. And that combination, we talked about it at the start of the second half, Sterling and Reece James, they combined so well. You just had to wait the pass, and then from there, hammers it. You say, oh, keeper shouldn't be beating at their near post. Well, if it's hit that hard, sometimes you just don't even see it, let alone stop it.
Yeah, that hard and that high. The goalkeeper, I guess, has got to crouch to try to cover as much of his goal as he can, but it's hit speedily above him.
He's down low. You'd say technically probably too low, but there's no way he's stopping
far away from cutting Benfica open.
Second goal of the season for James. 3rd goal in Champions League football for Reece James. There's a big raging debate going on in English football. There is in the football of every team heading for the World Cup finals about who should be England's right back in Qatar. Gareth Southgate, their coach, has so many options. Kieran Trippier's playing well for Newcastle. There's Kyle Walker at Manchester City, but James seems to be the man in possession. And Trent Alexander-Arnold scored a wonderful goal for Liverpool last night to remind everybody, and they needed reminding that he's around. But James can do that. And it's an embarrassment of riches in that position for England. Aubameyang on towards Sterling. Was he held back there by Balotelli? There was a shirt billowing. Referee saw nothing untoward.
There was a hand on the shoulder, wasn't there? But it was just in his favour. Oh, I'm not sure what Leicester's seen there.
Going to be some changes here. De Ketelaere really hasn't been involved in the game this evening, still waiting for his first Milan goal. Ante Rebic just back from injury, has taken over from him. We're going to say Matteo Gabbia, a young centre-back, make his Champions League debut, number 46. Here's Rebic first. And now Gabbia is on. They're going to go to 5 at the back. Milan, I think they're starting to think about the weekend. From Chelsea's point of view, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is going to be rested from here. It's Conor Gallagher, Chelsea's match winner at Crystal Palace in the English Premier League at the weekend, who comes on in his place. And Mateo Kovacic is also getting a break, and Jorginho, who's taken over the captain's armband, will come on in his place.
Well, I think both managers have statement in those substitutions. With Milan, you're rightly saying, switching to a 5 at the back. I think they're thinking it's damage limitation, as well as looking towards a big match against Juventus at the weekend. Chelsea, Raheem Sterling pushes up front. Conor Gallagher just on the